Hi, boys and girls, it's Mrs. Hohenstein. I have a book here today that I'm going to read to you, and we are going to review our comprehension skill of the week, which was sequence of events. Something that happens in a story or selection is called an event. Events happen in order from first to last. As I read to you, I want you to listen for important events. Think about the order in which the events happen. This order is called a sequence. Now, the book I have here today is called The Story of a Rose by Samantha Rabe. The first thing we have here is the table of contents. This tells us where we will find information in the book. There's information about roses on page 3. We can find out where roses grow on page 4. We can find out about the types of roses on page 5. We can find out about the parts of a rose on page 6. And we can find out how a rose grows on page 9. Boys and girls, take a look at that table of contents. Can you tell me what we learn about first in the selection? We learn about roses. That's the first section we'll come to. And then can you tell me what topic is covered last? Last is how a rose grows. Roses. You may have seen rose bushes growing in a yard or a park. You may have stopped to smell the roses. But did you know that there are thousands of kinds of roses? Many people plant and grow rose bushes, but roses grow wild too. Roses are beautiful plants and they are also useful. Boys and girls, think back to what I just read. How many kinds of roses are there in the world? If you said thousands, you would be correct. There are thousands of kinds of roses. Where roses grow. Roses need sunlight, soil, and water. Then they are ready to grow. Roses can grow in many places. They can grow in the city and in the country. Some kinds of roses grow in sandy soil along beaches. Other kinds of roses grow best in rich earth. Most roses like lots of sunlight, but some roses even grow in the woods. So boys and girls, what do roses need to grow? If you said sunlight, soil, and water, you would be correct. Types of roses. Rose plants have different ways of growing. A rose bush may be tall or it may be tiny. Climbing roses grow long stems or canes. Parts of a rose. Most of a rose bush grows above the ground, but the roots grow under the ground. The roots get water and food from the soil. The roots also keep the plant in place. The leaves, stem, and flowers grow above the soil. Boys and girls, what part of the rose grows under the ground? What part is that? If you said the roots, you would be correct. The parts of the plant help it in different ways. The leaves make food for the plant. The stems carry water and food from one part of the plant to another. Sharp thorns on the stems protect the plant from hungry animals. What do those thorns do? They protect the plant from hungry animals. Some of the flowers turn into rose hips. A rose hip is the fruit of the rose. People use rose hips to make soups. Animals eat rose hips too. Most ripe rose hips have red skin. The skin covers the flesh of the fruit. Little seeds are in the middle of the fruit. These seeds can become other rose plants. How a rose grows. The rose seed needs cold weather and water before it starts to grow, and it needs to be under the ground. Then the seed needs warmth. When the sun warms the soil, the seed can start to grow. So what does a rose seed need to grow? It needs cold weather, water, and warmth, and it needs to be under the ground in order to grow. A root grows deeper into the earth. Two little leaves appear above the ground. Soon the seedling has more leaves. Now it almost looks like a tiny rose plant. The seedling keeps growing, and in time it will become a beautiful rose plant. So boys and girls, just as a reminder, the sequence of events. A rose plant starts as a seed. I want you to think about what happens next. How does the seed turn into a rose? To help, you could make a chart like this. On the next slide, you will answer some questions about the sequence of events, how a rose plant grows. Thanks, boys and girls.